Cleveland. Back to Duncan. Just 5 to shoot. A fader. And Shumpert pulls it down.
And the fadeaway was about his only option there. Really good defensive position.
This one for 3. And the shot is good. Shumpert's got his second bucket of the night.
Their offense has really come together immediately, threatening to run away with this game.
It's hard to imagine they'll be able to stay as hot as they've been so far, but if they can, watch out.
Now here's Shumpert after the miss from Tim Duncan. Here in the first, just under 2.5 minutes played so far. Parker outside. Parker double teamed. The drive by Green. Leonard dishes to Green. Launches a 3. The shot no good. So Cleveland will take it the other way. Outside Irving. And the rebound goes to Duncan. Spurs trail by 10. Everything appeared to be lined up for Cleveland to get back into the playoffs last year, but that just wasn't the case. A lot of what-ifs for them last season.
And with another top pick on the roster, Kevin, and a youthful team, they were a popular pick before the season to play postseason games, but they still needed some seasoning.
And that one's good.
What a start they've gotten off to. A big lead for them, and we're not even out of the first quarter yet.
And it's not just their hot offense here. I mean, they're playing very strong defense too, guys.
And now for Cleveland. They still have the youth to grow, but with LeBron on board, the sky for them is the limit.
As are the expectations.
Just under 3.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. And that's going to be too many steps. Gets the whistle on the travel.
And one more note about Cleveland. Everyone will now assume that they will make the playoffs this year, but the ultimate goal is a title, something that hasn't happened in the city of Cleveland for any major sport in a long time. Probably 64, I think, may be the last.
Again, you're right on it. And the Spurs making a change here. Baines is checked in. Spurs trail by 14. And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
A short time ago, I had a chance to catch up with Greg Popovich. Of course, the conversation veered to the challenge of defending LeBron James. And he said, there's not a lot of good options with him. He can really do it all. I think you just have to try and stay in front of him. And if he gets in close, you have to bring help. And guys, we've seen LeBron really force the issue as far as getting into the lane. We'll see how they do.
Always great to hear from you, Doris. Irving's shot is good.
Wow, just a tremendous first quarter shooting the basketball for them, guys.
Yeah, when they put it up, it's gone in.
Irving against Parker. And that'll be San Antonio as it goes out of bounds. Spurs retain possession. And the Cavaliers will go with a different look here. Anderson Varejau's checked in for Mozgov. Thompson comes in for Kevin Love. Smith checked in for LeBron. And it's Matthew Dellavedova in for Shumpert. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Boris Diaz checked in for Duncan. Pellinelli comes in for Kawhi Leonard. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Daniel Green. And it's Mills in for Parker.
Once again, Manu Ginobili defied age and was a force off the bench for the Spurs. Just when you thought he was slowing down, he seemed to find new ways to score and contribute.
And here is Ginobili after Anderson Varejao made that last three-pointer. Ginobili the pass to Diaz. Back to Ginobili. 6 on the shot clock. The Spurs need to get a shot off here.
You know, he may lack grace, but his length makes up for it. He can still throw it down now.
Well, you don't have to be a fantastic leaper when you're his size.
Well, it's too bad because with a little more athleticism, can you imagine how dangerous he'd be underneath the boards?
7-second difference, shot and game clock.
Boy, extremely opportunistic defense leading to those points there.
That dunk, Clark, coming within seconds of the steal.
Love the way they convert from defense to offense.
But that's what happens when you get all 5 guys on a string defensively ready to react and make a play.
Varejau's shot is good.
And that's what's built them this early lead. Deadly shooting from behind the arc.
Yeah, the D better start getting out there on them, Steve, and soon.
And Diao kicks to Mills. Trying to answer back, but that three is off the mark. Smith for three. Drilled it just as the horn sounds.
And Kevin, he had the eye of the tiger there. I mean, he was not going to pass that shot up.
No
well
way.
Done. Big time shot in the clutch.
No, he was dying for the chance to take that shot, no question.
The first quarter concludes in a double-digit lead on the scoreboard. Cavaliers on top, leading by 17. And we'll be back with you for the start of the second quarter when we return. And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Cavaliers.
Now, they didn't waste any time getting into a groove out there. They're dialed in from long range.
Another big aspect of their game tonight has been the fast break, transition opportunities. They're really keeping it up-tempo so far.
Spurs trail by 17.
You know, one of the reasons the Spurs are able to stay near the top of the standings is that their play is consistent. They never seem to drop games that they're supposed to win. And that's true even when they're on the road.
Thompson and Verja at the 4 and 5. Matthew Dellavedova is out there with Irving, and it's Smith in at the small forward. That's the 5 for Cleveland right now. Now, here is Smith. 17-point lead, their biggest. Just 5 on the clock. From outside the arc, another 3 for Cleveland. Well, the Spurs were incredible on the road last season. San Antonio, the best record on the road in the NBA by far.
Well, they were the best team in the NBA by far for the most part. I mean, there's nobody that's going to deny that. 30 wins was more than most teams would get at home. But as you mentioned, the Spurs just don't lose to lesser teams on the road, and that's a credit to everybody, the coaches, the players. They focus and lock in. They don't give away games most times.
So timeout called here, the first for Cleveland. Well, going into last season, Thiago Splitter accepting a 4-year, $36 million extension, Steve, from the Spurs.
A lot of people questioned the value of that contract, but Splitter more than earned it with his play throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. He's versatile, he can pass, he can defend. And even though his numbers were down a little bit last year, he made tremendous impact just in terms of their interior play.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Cavaliers. Spurs trail by 18. The drive by Green. Splitter, that's good. Splitter's got 4 points this quarter. Second quarter of action, about a minute and a half played.
And Splitter clearly, when you look at him offensively, is not a floor spacer. He's a guy who's going to finish inside. He's going to set solid screen. Even though he plays close to the basket, his field goal percentage dropped by almost 10% over the last couple of seasons. He was once superb in that area. Now he's just rock solid. But with the Spurs in his role, rock solid is what it is.
That's now a dozen straight points coming off wide open three-pointers.
You know what it looks like to me out there, guys? I mean, it looks like all-star weekend out there. We know how much defense is played there. It's actually defense during the all-star weekend, no D.
And they call an illegal screen here.
Splitter still shooting over 90% of his shots in the paint, but less effective down low. Injuries perhaps a factor. We'll see if he can bounce back.
Here is Miller. Pass to LeBron. Releases. And there's another one for the Cavaliers.
And he may be the guy to put this game even farther out of reach.
San Antonio calls timeout. Matthew Dellavedova has checked in for Mike Miller. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Guys, thank you. I got a chance to hear what Greg Popovich was saying to his team. He told the team he wanted to run their offense through Parker. Coach is looking for him to take on a lot of responsibility when they've got the ball, to be a leader at the offensive end. Guys, they've got a decent hole to dig themselves out of, but still a lot of time left to do it. We'll see if those adjustments help.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. Out of bounds, Cleveland takes possession.
Where was he going with that pass? I mean, that's just an awful turnover.
Here in the second quarter, we've played a little over 2.5 minutes now. You know, every year there are a handful of teams in the Eastern Conference that buck the trend against the West, and last year Cleveland was one of them.
And Kevin, as you said, most teams in the East struggled out of conference, but Cleveland was pretty solid against the West, and I think they'll be even better with LeBron.
Absolutely.
And for the Cavs, it didn't show up in the win column, but a lot of their losses to teams out West were close competitive games.
Well, really, it was against the Southwest Division they struggled. A lot of East teams struggled against those teams. Now, 6 teams from the East had 1 or less wins against the division all season.
Always tough when the East goes. Out West.
Spurs have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball.